at it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, that was just I think as a collective, we're all going through that of not knowing where we belong or how we fit in, or uh, going through that deep dive. It's actually finding that place within ourselves that we belong, that we're deserving, that we're enough, So seeing that reflected, it's just finding your niche, finding your groove, your wave, and riding it. So that's a beautiful place to start with all of that.
Are you feeling that as well, Sophia?
Yeah, I've had a whole history of feeling like I didn't belong because I lived in 2 other countries. So I felt like when I came back from those countries, I had like an identity crisis. So it was like in my I would say early 20s. And so I went through that, but I went through it young because I was very confused, like, well, am I going back to Germany to do, to go back to my band because they wanted me to come back and, like start writing songs again over there. And do I stay here in New York, pursue my music here? I was just all over the place. But I go back to Spain, and my aunt had an opportunity for me to work with her as a journalist because she had her own company over there in Madrid. And I was just scatterbrained. And I'm like, no, I think I'm just going to make my own decision and stay in New York. And that's what I did. But I have felt that throughout my life. But I feel like I'm more, definitely more centered now. And I think it's because of my spiritual practices and my meditation and my Reiki. And I feel like I finally kind of have felt my groove more. And I'm in I ended up moving to PA, like in this town. It's a small town. I feel like more peace here.
Where at in Pennsylvania?
It's called Honey.
It's called
Huntingdon. It's like Huntingdon. It's near like Penn State. It's central PA.
Okay, gotcha.
It's 4.5 hours from like my son. He lives in Staten Island, New York. Yeah. So anyway, I went to college here, so that's how I ended up back here because every time from New York I would go back and forth. Like I would re-energize here because there's such beautiful nature and lakes and mountains. And so I'd always come here because my parents bought a house here, but my mother just sold it a few years ago. But I'd always come here. So I always knew this is like my second home. But I feel like I kind of finally feel like kind of like I belong here right now, at least for now, because I felt like after my divorce and everything, I felt like I just need to go to a nice, beautiful, calm place full of nature. And, I just really like relish in the nature and take it all in. And if anything, that's what really brings me a lot of joy is just this nature, just taking it all in. And I'm just content being with me and my daughter. And and until the next, I just say to myself, I can go anywhere, I can belong anywhere, like until the next journey, but for now, I feel a little bit, definitely more centered a little bit.
And that you at least belong there right now.
Yeah.
That was another thing that came out of the breakthrough was, and actually before I go into that, I'm feeling like, like as maybe Sophia was speaking, that maybe from her space, we can kind of come up with some lines and then vice versa, like whoever's speaking, maybe the other couple people can kind of.
She had a lot of gold nuggets in what she was saying, like taking it all in as a line.
Yeah.
Belonging here now. This is my second home away from home. She had so many gold nuggets being thrown out there. Just those.
So you just wrote a whole song, Sophia.
Yeah, like I go to the mountain peaks to feel free or something, like because you said that the nature was your freedom,
Yeah.
There's so many. There was just so many one-liners that she was throwing. I was finding my groove, getting back to you. Oh, there's another one.
At least we have it all recording, so I don't have to write it all down. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm
no,
trying.
it's funny you say that because the other day, because I know Steve mentioned something about this, this lyrics and lunch, and I was like, well, I guess my brain just started like firing up. I'm like finding my groove, and I felt like that could have been like maybe a title of a song. I don't know.
Sophia's Groove. That's a song.
I don't know Sophia's groove, but finding my groove could be the title
Yeah.
because it could be it's universal.
Yeah. Finding my groove, getting back to you. You should read the book, Sophia's Code. It's coming through for me, for you. And it is actually the Christ consciousness of the divine feminine.
Okay.
And it's one of the most beautiful books, and you'll love you'll love your name with that one.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. I found out recently that this is the number one most popular name now for females in the world.
Sophia?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Well,
Yeah.
it kind of correlates to, and it's kind of bizarre, but I mean, I guess it means wisdom, and it correlates to Mother Gaia. So supposedly, it's another name for Mother Earth.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
interesting things about that name, I just discovering now recently. But I mean, I always knew it meant wisdom, but never knew it was tied to Mother
The
Gaia.
divine, yep, the divine feminine, Christ consciousness, yeah.
Which that's my middle name, but my first name is Danielle, but I've always gone by Sophie or Sophia. So that's what's
I
come
love
up.
it.
Thanks.
I love that.
And I love
Uh,
your Sarah, too. And Stephen. Hey, we're all S's.
Yeah. That's that groove, that S groove.
the S
Oh,
groove.
that S groove.
What I was going to speak of on also in the breakthrough that came up was we we already belong, like we're here right now, like within ourselves too, like uh and being here and brings you back to the present moment. Chris had come through because um she has a thing about she's always on her phone texting and being in communication with people. So when people aren't communicating back with her, she's been triggered in the past. But what she just had a breakthrough on, and it came up again this morning, was that she that's now her opportunity to return home. Like now she's not connecting with people. She's able to just, that's an opportunity for her to get to know herself even more and go home and see and be here, belong here at that moment. So it was like, it was beautiful that she like completely 180 that, that was a transformational like meditation and breakthrough for her, because she's forever, since I've known her, had issues with communication and has definitely called me out on a couple of them.
The breakthrough.
Oh my gosh, that's really good. I don't know why, but I just said, when you feel like you just don't belong, get out your pen and write a song. I might just get it all wrong, but let's have fun and sing along. I don't know why. I don't know why that came up, but that came up while you were talking.
That's beautiful. I'm trying to feel this out. Like maybe I just jot down the times that lines come through or something.
Yeah, and then you can write it all later.
Have it on recording.
Right, exactly, and be able to go back to the recording later and pull out all those lines.
I just wanted to say, I might not be good on the spot, but I can also, well, I don't want to say I'm not good at it, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, I can also take it with me and then come back like next week or whatever. Because I like to sometimes like just sit on it, you know. I don't
Yeah.
know how you guys write songs, but I've always been one to just, like take some songs were quick, but other songs it just would take a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to get.
they come in all different forms, and you have
Mhm.
so much to offer just in the way that you're speaking about an experience or how it feels, how it smells, how it tastes, how it touches. You know, you sent us into a space of nature and how to feel like, even though this is our outside second home, the first home is inside. And how do I get back to you? You know, how do I keep coming back to the source? How do I keep making myself belong with God? You know, because that's truly the belonging that we want to feel. That separation is our ego thinking that, you know, like, oh, nobody likes me or I'm not enough. And we're just making our mind play tricks on us, right? But when you get to the center, it's it's openness, and it's all there. It's all connected. It's all one,
Right.
you know? So
But
yeah.
just my initial thought when Stephen was talking was like, well, if if we feel this feeling of belonging to God, then it doesn't matter where we are.
Or what the F anybody else thinks.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. It's your feeling of it's your personal feeling of belonging, and you could be anywhere in the world. And so it's funny because in my early 20s, I was much more my ego, right? So I was always like, well, where do I belong? What, it was just, I felt so fragmented. But, as life goes on, it's funny because that's when I turned to spirituality. So that very feeling of like not feeling like I belonged anywhere and very confused is when I started delving into books about spirituality and all that, and to feel like how do I feel like I belong? And I guess that's where it stemmed from, like my search, because I also didn't have any religious practice I was doing at the time. I was lost that way too. I was like, well, let me just delve in and read some books and find myself that way. So that's
That
kind of how
seems like
my
that's the
spiritual path
journey, right? It seems like
Mhm.
that's the journey of
started.
finding out how you belong, is that you start asking the question because you have some type of terrible experience that happens in a dark space, that you start reaching out to either people or books or
Mhm.
other things to try to like consume, you know, before you start to actually experience the journey, which you jump in with faith and you leap, right? And then you're
Right.
actually in the energy and the experience of it all. Um, that would be a really good like beginning, middle, and then end phase of how to take someone home where they belong, the journey
I
of
mean,
within.
that's the first three levels of the consciousness. I mean, it's disoriented. You're like, what the hell's going on? Something happens to you. You're like, all right, well, this isn't working or right. Let me see what else is out there. And in order to do that, like you spoke to, consume. So, and as we start to build that up, I'm trying to figure out how the goal setting would be incorporated, the goal oriented aspect. I
Well,
guess
you're
that is the
seeking
consumption.
the goal
Yeah.
is you're seeking God, you know, like you're seeking some other type of experience than the one that you were doing before. So
Right.
you get these old souls and seekers trying to figure out like this esoteric meaning, right, to life. And then you're like, wow, I've been there the entire time. I belonged the entire time. You
Hmm.
know, so you just realize you're like, I just needed to jump and have faith and recognize my place in all of it, and that God looked at the mountains and everything and said, wow, he decided that there needed to be one of me too. You know, like that's a big thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, Sophia.
No, sorry. Go ahead, Stephen. I'll
I
talk
was
after you.
I was going to kind of speak to my journey in that as well. Is that, and we're kind of co-creating this, so I hope y'all are fine. I kind of like where it's at, where we're just kind of riffing off of our experiences and belonging, and then I can go back and try to create something from that. And actually, I'm feeling like another, maybe even offering another hour based off of this, to actually write it. Or I don't feel into that, but um, yeah. So I just wanted to speak to that.
Sure.
Um, Yeah, I was just following my journey that my parents had laid out for me, and they had no idea because neither one of them went to college. They were forcing me to go to college and, saying that this is the avenue if you want to be successful. And in my soul, like I knew pretty young, like the path that I was taking was not one that I wanted to be on at all, but it was just what was laid there for me. And luckily, I had a near fatal car accident when I was at college. That was like, all right, damn, if I was able to survive that, like, um, and everything that I had been told up to that point, or the path that I was told, led me to a place where I almost like left this human experience. Let me try everything that I felt was right, and it gave me that opportunity to like actually follow my intuition after that, which kind of led to the journey. I think I skipped the goal part. I guess I did graduate college, and um, but I started down the journey and then realized that I needed to go back to the goal oriented, and went into the corporate world. And I also didn't see any other path. Like that was the only path that I was on, so it gave me an opportunity to search out other paths, and go into the inspiration, which is what um, I think you were speaking to. Like we were able to go inside and find that inspiration at that part in the journey and create that remember that connection of oneness. I think that was you, Sarah, that spoke to that.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just wanted to speak to that real quick, of those three
Um,
levels there.
yeah, I was gonna say I had a similar experience, Stephen. Like I went to college and I remember I think I was a sophomore and I remember like, well, it's a small liberal arts college or whatever, and I felt like I didn't fit in right and so as a sophomore because I had lived in Spain and I was just different. I was dressing differently. I was just, my mannerisms were different. And I just felt like I was a fish out of water. And then I remember wanting to quit, like go to New York City, like Madonna did at 19. I was 19. I was like, I want to go to New York City, like Madonna. Like she started her career as a singer songwriter at well, she went there at 19. So I just had this fantasy, like, I want to quit college. I told my dad, I'm like, I want to quit college. I remember that. I was like, I don't want to be here. And I think a lot had to do with feeling like I didn't belong because people would talk about me, I guess. I think it was mainly girls that were jealous of me because I think a lot of guys like me because, I was different and I was friendlier and I, dressed, like European style dressing, and a lot of girls wore like jeans and sweats, and I don't know. So I think that hurt me though, that I went to this party one time and the girls were like, she can't come in. And I was devastated and I entered this depressive state, and that's when I wanted to quit. But I don't know what I guess, my point is that I felt like I didn't even belong there then. And then when I went to Germany is when I felt much more elated. And then coming back, I felt like I had to be a chameleon again. I felt like I learned because the German campus, university campus, was so large. It's like 50,000 students, like Penn State. So I could be whoever, you know what I mean? It was different. And that's probably the reason why I liked cities so much. I was like, I want to go to New York City because, like, I can be whoever I want to be, like in this little dinky college, 1,000 students. I'm like, I don't know. It was a different vibe. But anyway, I think that's what kind of led to my depression and confusion and feeling like I felt rejected, and like didn't fit in. And I think that started at around like 19. But anyway, I was thinking one of the lyrics lines could be, I was so confused or something like that, or I was in my ego or so confused, or I don't know, just something like from confusion comes clarity, or I don't know, something like that. Sometimes you have to be confused in order to be clear, or in order to be clear, feel clear and belong, or I don't know. But it's all in recordings, though. We don't have just, I just kind of like putting stuff out there, whatever.
This is perfect. Again, this is a co-creation. It was last week or 2 weeks ago. Sarah was here, and it was just then we were typing.
Oh, it's just you and Sarah?
It was just myself and Sarah, right?
That's cool. I'm really enjoying this, so it's really cool. So can I ask like what is the plan?
So with what all you guys were saying, I kind of like just spouted a poem a little bit right there in the chat. That might be something you can work with later.
I will add it in. So this is kind of the idea is from this, and I mean it almost feels like there's a few songs that could come out of this. I
There's
mean,
a lot.
you
There's a
you got
lot.
one right
There's
there,
so
Sarah.
many gold nuggets with it.
So what I can do is I probably can I definitely can share the video if you want to go through and use some of this the conversation or maybe even what you just said and come up with a song. That will be my plan. Maybe that's what we do is we each come up with a song from it and then can share it either the next time or in Visionary or whatever or Coffee House and create from there. I'm digging. I'm feeling that.
So I guess that's where what I want to ask Stephen. So so are we planning to, is this all kind of like freestyling? Are we freestyling it? Like, are you planning to use lyrics to write a song and then put it out like and you perform it? Or well, I'm just trying to figure, that's why I was going to ask, but I didn't get a chance in the beginning.
That definitely could happen. It may not happen, and maybe you create the song and you're performing it out, or maybe we each create our own version of that song and are able to put it out. Because when myself and Sarah were working it, we kind of both. I ended up writing a song on forgiveness as well, and you had because you've pretty much flowed the one that we had here, when the majority of that came through you. So I was like, man, I got to write my own little version of this. So I came up with forgiveness key. But so, yeah, I'm kind of liking that. Like maybe we each write our own little thing of it and come back together
Okay.
and can share our version of it. Maybe the next class or the next time we get together.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds good. Yeah, possibilities are endless. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but I had a mini little career in music. I ended up getting a pressing and distribution deal in around like 27. I think I was 27 with Itchbound Records in Atlanta. That's Vanilla Ice was with them. Yeah, and that's funny because one of my co-producers was Vanilla Ice's producer, or one of them, Dave DeBerry, and then the other one ended up he would perform with the Harp Tones and Sam and Dave. So he was like became like a, I don't know, kind of a known guitarist or a little bit, but so I was in the music industry, and then what happened was we put out this album, and then I got a promoter to promote one of my singles, which I just decided to do. One of my singles, or one of my songs on there, was a remake of the Annie Lennox "Here Comes the Rain Again." So that kind of did well in the underground market, and I did promote it, and I got a little bit far, but then I think I just got so burnt out because I was working from like the 3D, sort of like working so hard in the 3D realm, so hard that I just burnt myself out to the max, because I was just like, I was even having like anxiety attacks and getting dizzy and stuff. Like I got to the point where it was just too much. And then because I was just trying to make it happen so much. So I think I just like surrendered, let it go. And then, I was about a year later or something, I just had my first child. But I try to get back into the songwriting. I've always loved writing songs, but I feel like there was a little bit of a pain behind it, like a feeling of like because it didn't work out for me when I wanted it to, it was too painful to go back and to try and write songs again, because I felt like I was let down, maybe by God or the universe. But then as looking back on my journey years later, I feel like it was a blessing in disguise, because I sometimes now look at the music industry and I see what's going on and I'm like, oh my God, that could have been me. I don't know if you guys see that, but I see like, oh my God, that could have been a blessing in disguise and I didn't even know it. So anyway, because you hear stories of MK Ultra. There's some of these singers that are MK Ultra without even knowing it, and I kind of went down the rabbit hole to find out a lot of information about a lot of things. And I'm like, and I stumbled across, a lot of the people in the music industry have been, abused. Like, look at Britney Spears and, and trying to get out of that contract, whatever that contract was, of, like she couldn't have a child or something, and just all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, looking back, I'm like, I think it was a blessing. So that's what, anyway, just giving you a little bit of a synopsis, because I've had these fantasies. Oh yeah, Blessings in Disguise, another song title. Yeah. I've had these fantasies of putting out, my music, and Chris put me to the challenge on one of the breakthrough classes. She's like, just do a TikTok. So I was like, I don't want to do it. My mind, I'm like, I don't want to do TikTok. So I did a TikTok of my, like, the little chorus piece of my song, Let Your Love Show. I was telling Steven that I love the chorus, but I don't like the verse, because the verse is more victim consciousness and the chorus is more like, it's opposite of that. Like, it's like, let your love show. Anyway, I could send it to you guys, but anyway, so I have this fantasy of like going back to maybe putting a couple of songs up and, doing something with them, like with, only like a couple of them, because I only identify with the lyrics of a couple of them. So, and then the one I would like to redo the verses, but I guess I have this fantasy of going on like TuneCore, one of these distribution centers, and maybe doing something with that, or I was telling Steven, since I don't identify with a lot of the lyrics I wrote in my 20s, because it's more of a victim consciousness theme, I feel like I like to create new songs. So anyway, here I am.
And with that, like, maybe also the victim stuff may be the ability to show people down that path too. It may be like, all right, this reaches this, and kind of show them through the steps of the process, going from that mentality to what you got going. So you'll show your growth and your journey within your lyrics writing, and it will allow you to connect with people further down the conscious levels of consciousness, and then you'll be speaking to them through the journey with your lyrics. That I'm assuming you've kept up writing like throughout your journey as well, for the most part. Is that correct?
I've written a couple songs. I didn't really, no, I kind of stopped like in my 30s.
Oh, gotcha.
And so now I'm, but I I still have it in me. I just wrote an article for the Daily News.
This whole collaboration right now, I just have to acknowledge it, because there is so much gold coming out with you talking about your experiences that's coming through, that even if you were to put yourself on Zoom and just start talking about an experience that you went through, you can pull and draw just these beautiful quotes and one-liners to songs. It's gorgeous, Sophia. Like, you're already a songwriter. It's just getting it mapped out. Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe that's what this space is just like, we just sit like we discussed and be able to talk, get to do it in a group setting instead. And then we all have the recording to go back to, find our nuggets, find any nuggets in there and use to create. I mean, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's so cool how messy and how like messaged it is. Yeah.
Well, the one
That's me
song,
also trying to get my channels in. Like I haven't had them. I've been in flow my whole life, but that's also why it's a beautiful. I've found the beauty in all that flow, but I do need to focus sometimes.
yeah,
Ditto.
the one song I had, the Let Your Love Show song, I'm like, this is totally what they saying, totally congruent with what the village is about, letting your love show,
Mhm.
letting your right. So it's please, okay, if you can take my hand. I'm drawing a blank, but if you can take my hand, let it be you and me. So please understand. Anyway, I'm gonna have to just send it to you. See, I'm getting a little nervous, but I could send you guys the TikTok of it.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
love
and
that.
it's like, let it be you and me, no demands, let your love show. Like, and maybe an added lyric could be in there, like let your love flow.
Mm.
Do you have your TikTok like username or whatever? Um,
Um, hold on 1 second.
if you do, share it in the chat and we can save it and go to it. Or
Let me see. I just looked at it the other day.
And I'm actually doing a thing today for the Greatness I See in You masterclass. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it because I need that flow. Like doing that every single time, just that one little piece, it is so inspiring to me. And the way people leave from that little exercise, it just leaves everyone in so much joy. And I'm like, I want that every freaking week, just to keep recalibrating. And so every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, I'm doing that exercise with people. So just
beautiful.
if you want to join that.
Wait, what is it? What are you doing
The
at one?
great
I'm sorry.
the greatness I see in you.
Oh, okay.
Um, you said 1 o'clock. Are you central?
Central, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's central.
I'm in
So it'd be
Texas.
all right. So it'd be 2 p.m. my time. 2 p.m. my time.
Mhm.
I don't know if I could do it today because I have to go to the Daily News. I just wrote an article for my services. It's understanding Reiki through my eyes. So
Oh
being that
wow.
I have an ad that, so I went to Daily News. I was telling Chris about this in the breakthrough class last night, but it just dawned on me, let me go to the Daily News because I know we're putting an ad. The Holistic Center is putting an ad for me and the new practitioner in there. So I went in there and I said, well, I asked like which ad has the best reach and all that. So she was talking about everything. And I saw an article, a place where you could put an article next to the ad, half a page. I'm like, well, can one of the practitioners write an article right next to the ad? And she's like, I don't see why not. So then later that night, I got a text from one of the other practitioners. She said, would you like to write an article about, like your services and about Reiki? And I was like, sure. So I just finished it 2 nights ago and I'm not, and so I'm a writer. Like I love to write, and
That's
so
amazing.
so
Well,
so
it's every Wednesday, and I also do an A-team meeting every Friday. Every Friday at 5. It's just where we talk and just say what's going on for the week and see how you're doing. And it's for 40 minutes. It's just like a little chit chat.
oh,
Just
okay.
see where everyone's at, if they need support or resources or to be held accountable for something. What's their goal for the week kind of thing. And that's just my A-team meeting that I do on Fridays at 5
Is
Central.
that
And then Wednesdays, I do it at 1 o'clock. And
is
that's
that
every Friday, every Wednesday.
is that it posted in the village or is that separate?
That's separate. I mean, it's for the village. Like they're the ones that actually helped me create it, because those are the two like major things that had helped me with ALL was that exercise and the A-team. Like there's just so many people with connection and love that's given. I do A-team meetings every Thursday with Terry and John and Patricia and other people on Thursday, and they inspired me to even continue to do it again because it's so impactful.
What is A team? Like what is that?
The A team is like your team that you have on the outside, that like 5 to 10
Oh,
people.
that's right. Yes.
Yeah, that can keep you accountable for what you're trying to achieve.
Accountability team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like, what are you going through this week? What could you have done differently? What do you need help from with us right now? Do you need a breakthrough? Do we need to schedule that? Like whatever it is, we're holding each other accountable in that space to be that for each other.
And that's Friday at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Central.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Okay,
Yep.
cool. I want to write these down and see if I can make some of these. My schedule is really crazy lately because, anyway, we don't have to talk about that. We can talk about the songs, but because my daughter's going to college and I'm doing all this college stuff for her and just, and then my Reiki business, trying to promote that. But,
A
and
That
little
that's
ties
bit of
in with the
everything.
song with belonging.
what?
That ties in with the song with belonging.
Yeah, for sure. For
It's
sure.
finding your place, finding your groove, finding your space.
Yeah, I like finding your groove or space or something like that. I think groove. What about the groove? I think finding your groove or finding my groove or something like that could be a title. I don't know what you guys think, but
I have it
I
written down,
love it.
starred like it's a title. But if you want to use it, go right ahead.
right, right. So do you guys have an end goal with this? Like, do you guys like think that, you know, we can
I
do
have
like
some visions on it, and uh, one is I do want to create like a visionary that's kind of based off of the distinctions, like almost a visionary album.
Um,
Is one thing. And then another is that part of my vision is also to come back and do like a mini tour in the States and be able to take this message around. So actually have the tour like musically, but now have the earth waking message involved in it and maybe go to the different places that earth wakers are at, that there's a concentration of people, and kind of do the live performances, set up a tour that route. Um, and as digit maybe even and do digital distribution of this stuff, and however you want to be involved in that, like we can we can definitely coordinate on that. When over the weekend we had a couple at ALL, we had a girl that played piano that was here for that was she was really
Joya.
good. Yeah,
yeah,
Julia. So she jammed one night. I can't remember what night, maybe Saturday night, and she was like she she was in the Greatness I See in You like group that we did, and she was scared to release her music. I think she even spoke about it on the microphone. And she was so freaking phenomenal. Like she just
It
like
was
blew
really
it out.
good.
Did you hear it? I didn't know if it
Yeah,
came through or not.
Melinda ended up doing a video of it, and I was just like, wow, it was so good. And even Kirk on the drums, like, and then the other guy
Mhm.
with the other drum, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I just want to be there. You know what I mean? Like,
It's so beautiful being like having that space, like of all the create, like all these different creators coming together, and we're just all supporting each other and whatever our inspiration is. And yeah, so, and there was another girl here that actually draws and does paintings, and she's like um um her name's Lauren. I think she spoke quite a bit actually, and she like showed everybody her drawings and paintings, and they were just blown away. And I saw myself in her, like as I used to share music, like I would go into this whole thing and like tell what it was about and depict, and it was like it actually took away from the ability for the other person to take their own,
to
and
find
their own,
themselves inside of it. Yeah.
yeah, find themselves inside of it. And I could see that even more so within like paintings and drawings, because her stuff was, it had like some eclectic. I'm not in that kind of artistry, so I don't even know how to describe it. I just see it for what it is and like appreciate what's going on there and try to feel into what they were feeling, which is again like why you don't sit there and tell people why you're feeling, because it allows the other person to go through it
Feel.
themselves and feel it exactly.
Yeah,
So
that's so good.
and she was like going through her paintings or her drawings like quick, like you couldn't even really, because like she created her smallness. Actually, she was creating her smallness in that, and as much as she wanted to share her stuff, she didn't really want to, or didn't allow it to really truly be shared, because she was going through, explaining, zipping through the pictures, and it's like I could catch up for 1 second, but that's about it, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I like the seeing the greatness in you. I feel like I've struggled with feeling that greatness in myself in my life, and I know a lot of people do. So it's,
Everyone does.
yeah, everyone does.
Everyone does it. We do it to ourselves mostly
Yeah,
inside, like all the time. And we'll use other people or use ourselves, and we'll create this situation about things that are not even true. Like, and we need to get out of other people's heads. And that was like the biggest exercise that made me see what others truly do feel about me when I get stuck in my own head about my limiting belief. Right. So
right,
doing that like constantly and being that constant in someone's life for once a week, that's probably the greatest gift, because not only am I getting cleaned up, so are they, and it's like, what is my number one goal? Improve the lives of others. But how do you do that? You have to improve yours. So what is it that I want to do every single day? And that's only an hour out of the week. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to show up. I'm going to freaking be there. I'm going to do that. So
right. How do I find your link? Is that on Facebook?
yeah, I put it on, I'll send it to you. Let
Okay.
me I'll
And
put it in the chat really
do
quick.
you guys think it'd be a good idea to create a group with starting with the three of us for this? And then I can always, send you, we could just send each other stuff. I could send you my TikTok, or I could send you one of my songs, or whatever. We could just kind of like go back and forth. It's up to you guys if you want to do that, but I thought it'd be a good idea.
I was going to ask if you guys were fine with me just putting this. I guess I could even do it private or unlisted on YouTube. That way you, and then send the links out to to
Yeah.
to you, so then you could, anybody could go view this video. So you're fine with that, both of you?
Yeah,
All right.
I don't
Yeah.
mind.
Oh, you mean a private on, I don't care, whatever, private, public, doesn't matter to me.
All right, beautiful. Well, I may just make it public, so then try to create some sort of momentum like later on down the line as we're creating songs from this, and people then could see like our conversation, then what that translated into, like as far as songs. Do you write music, Sophia?
Oh, you mean like music, like the chords?
Music, right?
Um, I have played the piano. I played
Mhm.
piano for 6 years when I was younger, and the flute for 5. So I have the musical background. I have done a couple of chords on my songs, so I can. That's kind of how I started a couple of my songs, with some easy chords. But I am rusty, but
Well,
I'm doing.
I
Yeah.
would love to. I would love for you to share like the sound that you kind of want to have, maybe, and we could, if you go back and write a song from this, and then you could send it to me, and I could, hear the sound that you're trying to go for, and be able to create from that space, like
Well,
that style or genre song. And
I.
you write as well, Sarah, correct? We kind of discussed this 2 weeks ago, but it's not coming to me. You play piano?
No, I'm studying how to play piano. I'm not that great at that, but I'm studying, and it's a process. But I'm a singer-songwriter. That's what I'm pretty fluent in. And I pick up the guitar, and God kind of just guides my hands on where they're supposed to go, to be honest with you. I'm learning a little bit more about the flow and the chord progression with the keys and what works well with what. Um, but it just comes naturally, almost like the sound kind of just flows with what God's asking me to play, to be honest with you. And I've kind of liked that. And I get really good feedback on that. um, but yeah.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
also thank you. I also wanted to mention that the way I've written songs usually has been collaborations. So when I was in New York, I was usually the melody writer and the lyrics writer. So mostly, I mean, sometimes we do, maybe a little bit of a combination, like combination of that. But usually it was like, what happened was when my album was produced, my producer would give me the music, and he's like, "Can you do something with this?" And so he'd give me like maybe just some chord, like a chorus line or something. And I'm like, "Oh, I could do something with this." And I would do the melody and lyrics and send it back. And then he would write the music for the verse. So it would kind of like step by step, kind of little by little happen that way. Or sometimes he gave me the whole piece of music. He's like, "Oh, I did a chorus and verses," but it wouldn't be completely 100% complete, because he would always want my, what my feedback. And then I would go record in the studio, and then we'd go from there. I'm like, "Oh, we could do another verse," or you could, and then I would tell him, "You could do this musically," since I had the background of piano and flute. I knew I was familiar with some of the, music. So I'm like, "You could do maybe a chord here, or do this, or, a different chord in this, whatever note," or, back then I was a little bit more savvy about it. But so that's how I kind of did it, the album. So that's what I did. Mostly the melody lines. And I'm really good at melody lines for some reason, but I think.
Well, I would love to go through and do that process with you. If you want to go through again, I'll take this recording, post it. I can send the links, and then you can go through and take the chunks of stuff that you want from that, create a song, and then we can. I mean, you can even send the melody if anything, if you come up with anything in that regards.
I'm not sure how.
That
So I
would
would
be
just
amazing.
okay.
What if Stephen, like, because this I feel is going to get a lot larger, right? And instead of individually having to send links to people, would you be willing to like do like a Facebook lyrics and lunch group? And then every time somebody joins in, you could just add them to the group text. And then that could be like where people communicate.
I definitely could do that. Let me feel into if it's there or maybe even in the Earth Waking Village space.
Yeah.
I'm
Uh,
I'm also wondering, I know it's just, I'm just coming, whatever's coming to me, I'm saying it. So whatever you guys
Hello.
think, whatever's coming to me. But I'm wondering too, like, we'd have to think about, is it, would it, we'd have to figure out if 3 is a good number to start with writing a song. Or do you think if more people come in, it could get a little crazy? Or we have to just kind of think about all that too. You know what I mean? Like, or we can even
You could do breakout rooms if there's
that's
more
what I was
people.
just gonna say. Like, maybe
Yeah.
if the 3 of us start writing a song and other people wanna, then they could write their own version of a song too. Like, we sort of like Chris does it. Since she makes the breakthrough groups, we could do that too. That would be like really cool. I don't know. It's just food for thought. It's just what's coming to my head. And
I love it, and thank you for the suggestions. I love to go back and just feel into this. That's kind of what I love to do, is do that same thing, like feel into it and see, all right, which way we go, feel
yeah,
feels best with that. And
yeah,
I've
because
always
right.
been a more the merrier type deal, but it would get kind of chaotic. And, I would see it maybe more, I'm just a facilitator while everybody, I mean, we can do the same thing. You even with, I don't know, say 15 people in here, we could do the same thing as like a minute flow, or like what I think you had brought up Bradley does, and each person just kind of flow and have a little more structure. Since it's small right now, I'm not worried about that. But yes, as more people would participate, kind of finding that. And I'm also like, I don't mind failing. So when you find those weak links, be able to work on those, whatever it may be, if it's not flowing right for.
You did a lot of raps out of that. Like if you were to like, all right, now you're gonna flow, guys, flow, 1 minute, go, and then they're just like, and then the next person, like that would be so cool just to have that. I just totally witnessed that. That's fun.
Yeah. I was
Each
gonna say,
person.
I like your rap, Steven. So you do this rapping and the singing, which is pretty cool. You do both.
It's my, what is it, instead of the 18, what is it, your inner circle, or not inner circle? It's the,
It's the round table.
yeah, the round table. So I've had all my personalities that I use for different parts as musicianship. One's a rapper, one's the acoustic person, one's the punk rock, one's the alternative rock, and it allows me to be in those different spectrums. Then I could put on that person as I'm in it. I went on I toured the East Coast with this college, not orchestra, marching band, and I played the part of Eminem because they did "Love the Way You Lie," and so I
Mm.
did. So I came out as Eminem, but in the middle of like the football fields that we played at. So we played at a couple of huge universities, and I walked in this box. So we were like walking along with this box, and I jump out of, like, break through the thing and jump out. And one of the shows, I jump out and everybody goes crazy thinking I'm Eminem because I was like dressing the part and like did everything. Then I rapped for like 15 seconds and everybody's like, "Ah, that's not him." They like, I felt the whole stadium like sit down.
Oh,
It was just crazy. Like everybody was like, "Damn, Eminem's here" or something, whatever they're feeling. But there, people were like going crazy. Then they realized that it wasn't. I wasn't playing the part well enough.
well, you played it well enough for them to think that it was him, at the beginning. You felt all those feels.
It was a very cool time. It was with one of my producers. His dad was yeah, music director for college, and so yeah, they had me play that part with him. It was a fun little tour.
That's super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys want to make it, how long are you making the session? About an hour? And we can just go a little over here and there.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. And since we ran a little, I mean, it's about an hour at this point in time, I think.
Oh,
So
that's right, because you started late. That's right.
yeah,
That's right.
so I mean, I'm feeling close to complete. If you are, if there's anything else that either of you would like to share, feel free, and um, then we can just kind of do closing here if you'd like. Anything else on belonging?
Well, I like your haircut. I think that this was a beautiful space. I feel like I belong here. Um, yeah, I really liked the conversations and I just acknowledging the beauty that you guys bring into my life and where this is going to lead us. I see so many possibilities and it's very inspiring space. So thank you, Dreamin' Stephen, for dreaming so big. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you too. I was really happy to receive the invite because I was like, wow, this is really up my alley. Like, this is what I love to do. I mean, it's something that I love to do regardless of whether I get paid or not. So, anyway, and like you were saying, Sarah, like who knows, the possibilities are endless, could be endless. So you never know. You just never know. So
Right.
thank
And I
you.
had similar dreams about what you were talking about, Stephen, about going around and doing that. And I mean, I traveled from here, from Texas to Alabama and Louisiana and Mississippi and Florida and Georgia and all the way back. And I was singing and dancing and doing drum circles and, creating these songs like out of nowhere in the middle of forests. And I could hear the echoes of the trees coming back and just being in that space, like, and just being yourself and being you with zero fucks given. It's just like you and God and expressing yourself with beautiful people around you. Like you can't do that again. Like it's just something that you can, but you can't, like, but it's just how you're improving the lives of people just by being there and being you and sharing your songs. And it's gorgeous and it's a beautiful dream and it's possible.
It is. And one quick thing on that was that I remember somewhere along the line, like musicians during the Great Depression, it was like what everybody turned to, because it allowed people to be still in a happy space. Like it still brought like love and joy, and there was no money involved in it. It was just, that was like the currency, was being able to be entertained and have fun with it and enjoy it. So I've kind of always kept that, like, damn, like in a terrible space, the music can be there to keep the love going and allow people to still connect in desperate times. So I paraphrase that a little bit.
I loved
Yeah,
it.
for sure. And it's just funny because I know that music definitely feeds the soul, because it's just interesting, Sarah. I hear you talking, and so with my Reiki practice, which I'm just starting, I have these goals to so I just finished my crystal healing certificate, so I'm going to be adding that as a service. So I'm like, I
Yay.
want to get into sound healing. So this is I just signed up for the sound healing class, which is an online thing. You can take your time, because I have so much on my plate. I'm like, I can't do everything all at once. That's the type of person I like to do everything. I can't. But so the sound healing thing, so I'll probably be learning how to do the tuning forks, because that's the easiest thing to start with. And then I just if that's not just enough, I just signed up for a voice sound healing class. That's every Sunday, which I couldn't make this past Sunday because I had to work. But anyway, so at the very last class, and the reason I signed up was because I want to learn how to chant, like with the singing bowls. So
Mm.
and I'm doing it mainly for me, because it's for my therapy, because I haven't really sang in so long. And I'm like, I want to be able to do that. And I feel like it's so, and he teaches you this technique to use your voice it's a healing tool, like to heal yourself and heal others. So it's very, very unique and interesting. But I feel like this is the wave of the future. I feel, and when I got off that class, that was not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before, it's like something came into my mind, all these melodies, and I started humming them, and then I put them on my recorder, and it's just a melody. It's not words, but it was felt so healing and invigorating. So anyway, I just want to share that I can identify with what you're saying.
Mm.
Anyway, but
Thank you for that. And thank you for those reminders.
yes. So
Yes.
I feel complete if you guys feel complete.
Thank you both very much. You guys, yes, thank you both. I'm so grateful, and it's been a while to be able to, you know, create the connections and being able to write together. And I'm looking forward to what is created from this as well. And that's one of the things we want to get to, is actually doing chants. And we had a beautiful night here one night we have a bunch of singing bowls actually all around the property. You'll hear them going off every once in a while, and we love to do drum circles around the bonfire.
wow.
And Christy's run like she knows some chants, and same with Melinda. So I mean, that's like all stuff that
That's
So
awesome.
cool. That's so me.
we haven't even dove into that space really yet. We've touched
Wow.
on it a couple of times. So
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm learning, as I'm learning about it, I'm realizing, wait a minute, this is very healing, and people, it's like the wave of the future. I could see it. I could feel it and see it. This is going to be the wave of the future of people going to being drawn to sound, like sound healing, because of sounding is so therapeutic, and people don't really understand how therapeutic it is. Like, so a lot of people anyway.
it's been healing me my whole life.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, love you both, and have
Love
a
you
beautiful
too.
rest of the day. I'm going to try to come to your 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Here. I'm going to run over and actually grab some real lunch.
There
And,
you go.
and it's
Yeah,
been a
I'm
pleasure.
gonna try to. I'm gonna eat something, and if I can, I will. I'll see if I can come to.
Mwah.
But do you have the link though? Where's the link?
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Oh, you put it in the chat. Then, but how do I? But the only thing is, how do I?
Copy it. copy it,
Yeah.
paste it into like I don't know if you use Mac or Windows, but I just put it in my notes real quick. So
Oh, okay. Let me just write it down in my notes. So it's the Zoom. Oh shoot. How do I copy the see, I don't see I'm techie wise.
What's your Facebook? Do you have my Facebook?
I think we are friends on Facebook. So you want to
Okay, I'll
just
send it to you on
definitely
Facebook Messenger.
all right, just look me up on Facebook, Sophia Sorensen, and then just send me the link
Okay.
if you can. Thank you. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Yeah, no worries.
Okay. Okay. All
you
right.
guys are
See you
good
then.
there.
Good.
Yeah.
All right,
Love you,
beautiful.
Dreamy Steven. Love you, Sophia.
I love you guys
Mwah.
too. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.